Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guide. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you can see by the title, I have a comparison video of the Koh-I-Noor Polycolor and the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor pencils also. Now before I get into the comparison, I just want to put a statement out there because I know I'll probably get some questions or comments on this matter, but I'm not going to tell you at the end of this comparison which pencil I personally prefer. I've had people ask me this in the past, and I just want to make it clear the reason why I don't do that. I try to put the reviews out there in a methodical method of various different tests so that you as the colour pencil artist can take a look at the results of the reviews throughout and decide for yourself whether you think that pencil is going to fit into the way your style of artwork. Now, I know that when I do the reviews, I split the reviews down into 4 different sections because I want them to be as detailed as possible. I want the reviews to be the next best thing to you as an artist walking into a store, lifting up a pencil and trying it in your own hand. Obviously, there's nothing going to compare to that. But the reviews that I do, I try my best to provide as much detail as I can for you. So that's why I split my reviews down into 4 different sections. So I've got a written review, and inside that there's images and links and prices and sets and all the rest of it that are available. Then I have the video review, which has got tests that I've performed with the pencils, that type of stuff. I also have a speed drawn video, and then I have images taken off the artwork that I've done with the pencil, so that you can go across, click on the image, enlarge it, and inspect it a little bit closer at your own leisure. I think all 4 of those components of the review should help you build up an idea as to what the pencil's like or what the markers, whatever it is I'm reviewing. And I'm also always open to having questions asked of me. I love answering questions if I can, and if I can't, I'll always try and go to somebody that can. So if there's something else that's left out in the review, I always give anybody the opportunity to ask me a question, whether it's privately or in the comments section. Now, like I say, when it comes to these comparison videos, there are just far too many variables that come into play for us as individuals when it comes down to us being colour pencil artists. Variables such as the paper that we use, how heavy-handed we are as individuals, how light-handed we are, whether we layer, whether we just apply heavy applications, whether we use odorless mineral spirits, whether we use hot press watercolour paper, or whether we use Bristol Smooth or Bristol Vellum. All these different things play a part in the end result for you as an artist using your pencil. I could give one of you guys a Caran d'Ache Luminance, I'll have one, and we could both sit in a room and write notes on what we think that pencil's like, and 9 times out of 10 we're going to come up with different answers. Might get a couple of answers that are the same, but you know, we might come up with different answers if we're using our own techniques and our own paper and all these other things that I've just mentioned. So that's why I don't want to outright say which pencil I think is my favourite. And more than all of that, I don't want to say that because in case there's younger members here on watching, younger artists watching these videos, and I say that I like a certain pencil and they go and spend a lot of money, or you guys go and spend a lot of money on a tin of pencils, maybe £200 odds on a tin of pencils, because I have said that I think they're amazing and that I use them, and then you get the pencils home and they're not what you have expected them to be. I would be devastated at the thought of that happening to any of you. So that's why I tried to allow you guys to make up your own minds. So anyway, let's get on with the comparison. So as we can see here, we've got these two pencils. Now, before I started the review, I only had the 72 set of Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor. So I went out and bought the additional 12 greys. And the reason why I did that is because obviously I have the full set of Koh-I-Noor Polycolor, which is 144 palette. Obviously with the Lyra Rembrandt, in this 12 set, there are, I think, about 3 greys that are also in this set. So I think in total, it's about 81 or 82 pencils in the full Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor palette. But don't quote me on that. If you want to see more detailed reviews on both these pencils individually, I'll have links for them down below, because I've actually done reviews on both these pencils, individual reviews. So I'm not going to be talking in this comparison about the sets that are available or prices or anything like that, because if you need to know any of that information, you can go to the actual reviews that I've done on these pencils. This is just to show you what these pencils are like side by side, the swatches from both sets to show you what colors are in the palettes and what have you, and to show you some artwork that I've also done side by side, exactly the same image, just done with the various pencils. So anyway, let's get into this, and let's take a look at some tests first of all. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got the layer test, which I always do with my reviews. So on this side here, we have the Koh-I-Noor Polycolor test, and on this side, we have the Lyra Rembrandt layer test. I've done them side by side so that you can see exactly what they look like side by side, but I'll also have images of just the Koh-I-Noor and the Lyra layer test popping up on your screens as well, so you can take a close look at them. You can see down at the bottom here, obviously the Koh-I-Noor has a bigger palette, so there's the first plus really for the Koh-I-Noor set in the vast colors that they have available. But I tried to get as close as I could with the colors that I'm going to be doing the test with. But I selected the wrong blue from the Koh-I-Noor, and then I used this blue here from the Koh-I-Noor, which was matched much closer to the Lyra Rembrandt blue that I used. Also at the bottom here you can see some blacks. Now the Koh-I-Noor just have one black. The Lyra Rembrandt only have one black in their 72 set 10, but when you buy that set of 12, there are 3 blacks in total. You've got ordinary black, soft black, and hard black. Now I don't know what they mean by soft and hard, because the core hardness or softness for both the pencils are pretty much identical. I guess maybe they're talking about pigment levels. Maybe the black and the soft one is less than the black and the hard one. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, the blacks are there for you to see. I personally don't see too much of a difference in them. So you can take a look yourself and see what you think. The paper that I used for this test was the Derwent Lightfast paper. So really nice texture to this paper. So I was able to get really nice pigment levels from the pencils, because obviously it's high quality paper. But if you go across to the other reviews that I've done, the individual reviews of the Lyra Rembrandt and the Koh-I-Noor, you'll see I used other papers, and also in this comparison you will see that I've used different papers there too, throughout the different tests and the artwork and what have you, and the swatch that I'm going to be showing you later on. But for now, this is the layer result from the Koh-I-Noor and the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor pencils. Okay, so next up is the blending test. Now both these pencils, you see, the thing is, right, when people come to me and they say, Harry, can you recommend a really, really high quality pencil, but in the budget range, in kind of like student grade range, I always recommend the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor and the Koh-I-Noor Polycolor. They're the two go-to pencils. If you don't want to, if you can't for whatever reason buy the likes of the Luminance or the Derwent Lightfast or the Faber-Castell Polychromos or the Holbein, if you can't buy any of those top-line pencils for budget reasons, the next pencil down that I would always suggest to people going for is the Koh-I-Noor or the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor. I personally like both pencils. But you can see here that with the blending test, that whilst both pencils blended really well, you can clearly see here the Lyra Rembrandt tests are on this side that I'm pointing to, and the Koh-I-Noor blending tests are on this side. But you can clearly see that the green created here from the blue and yellow of the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor is much richer than the Koh-I-Noor green here. It's a little bit faded out. Same with the orange. The yellow and red have created a nice orange here on the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor. It's the same here, but it's just a little bit richer, I think, for the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor. And then same with the purple. So the red and the blue, again, I think that the colour that has been created here with the Lyra Rembrandt is much more purple-like. I think the result here for the red and blue Koh-I-Noor is a little bit too dark and not purple enough. Now, I done these two spheres because I know a lot of you guys like to use odorless mineral spirits, and so I'm going to do some tests here with the odorless mineral spirits. So you can see here that they're both pretty similar. You know, I used a selection of blues from both sets and the blacks as well. Just the ordinary black from the Lyra Rembrandt set. So for this odorless mineral spirits test, I'm just going to be using some Zesta on this one. Okay, so I'm going to start on the Koh-I-Noor Polycolor, and again, this test has been done on the Derwent Lightfast paper. Again, before I start this test, I don't normally use odorless mineral spirits, so I'm probably going to butcher this in terms of the right technique, but I'll give it a go in any case. So I'm just rubbing this odorless mineral spirits in. You can see there that let me just zoom in a little bit. You can see here that the pigment is breaking down quite well. I'll just put a little bit more on there. So that has broke down really nice. And obviously whenever you do this with odorless mineral spirits, one of the big advantages of using odorless mineral spirits is that it will, in most cases, give you back the tooth of your paper. Like I was saying earlier on, the reason why I do the 5 layers is because most artists who use odorless mineral spirits will advise you to have at least 4 or 5 layers down on the paper before you start using odorless mineral spirits. If you only have 1 or 2 layers down, you're not going to get favourable results. So next I'm going to go on to the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor here. So I'm just going to start off exactly the same way I did, doing the lighter area first. But you can see here that it's, you know, it's getting rid of the white of the paper. The pigment is definitely breaking down really nice here on the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor. I think actually I will have an image of both these spheres before and after the odorless mineral spirits over on the art gear guide, so you'll be able to see the results side by side and see how each pencil performs under odorless mineral spirits. But you can see they're really quite nice as well. I don't have any issues with either of those using odorless mineral spirits. So just let me move this to the side. So while I'm just doing this, you can see here the artwork that I've completed, which is just this ladybird. So when I was doing both art pieces, I found that the Koh-I-Noor was a little bit drier than the core of the pencil was just a little bit drier, a little bit chalkier than the Lyra Rembrandt. But then I had a slightly better palette in terms of doing gradient and, you know, the layering abilities that I had with the Koh-I-Noor. I had a lot more reds and oranges that I could use. Same with the greens. I had a lot more selection of greens that I could use here for the leaves. When it came down to the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor, same. The core of this pencil obviously was a little bit more. It was possibly a little bit more softer when it was using it. It's not a soft core per se, but just slightly softer than the Koh-I-Noor pencil when I was doing the artwork. I enjoyed doing both pieces. Both pieces were really nice. But I think as well, not with both images side by side here, I think that the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor has provided a deeper, richer pigment level of the artwork. But again, that's something that you should be able to see yourself. So with the images side by side, hopefully you'll be able to tell which one you think has got the richer pigment. I mean, like, they're both exactly the same images. I drew one out and then I traced it. I just got some paper and done some graphite on the back of it and then just put it onto the paper below it, so that I knew that both drawings were going to be as identical as I could get them. So you can see here with the pigments, the color charts, as you would expect, the Koh-I-Noor Polycolor has got a lot more colors. The palette here is 144. The swatch that I'm showing you now is the 72, and then I'll have a separate one just popping up a little bit later of the 12 greys that I got in that 12 set. But you know, with the Lyra Rembrandt pencils, they are really, really deep, rich pigments. You guys know that I don't go in for any of this oil or wax based pencils. I've spoke to chemists about that. It's a myth. There are wax and oils in all pencils combined. It's just different levels, different types of waxes and all the rest of it, which gives you the hardness or softness of the core and the bloom and all these other things that come with colour pencils. But if you were going to describe the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor, I would say that when you're putting a layer down of the Lyra, it's a little bit more like glossy, like silk, like gloss paint. It's got that kind of buttery texture to it, but that's not to say it's a soft core. It's not super soft, but it's kind of like midway with regards to, if you consider like Prismacolor the softest pencil, I would say, and Prismacolor is rated a 10 in the softness scale. I would say the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor core would come in and around about a 5 or a 6 in terms of softness. So here with the Koh-I-Noor, I'd say the Koh-I-Noor is a slightly harder core than the Lyra Rembrandt, but you can see here, like I say, the palette that is here is just gorgeous. Really nice selection of greens, really nice selection of earth tones as well. Whereas obviously with the Lyra Rembrandt, you do have fewer in both those ranges. But nevertheless, it's still, the Lyra Rembrandt is still a nice palette. One thing that I did struggle with a little bit when I was doing the Ladybird, I needed like a cream colour. And although there was a cream colour in the Lyra Rembrandt set, it was more yellow than cream. Whereas the Koh-I-Noor cream was like a cream colour. So I needed that for different parts of the artwork. I just couldn't. I had to use like a yellow ochre and then mute it down with the cream and then come back over it with the white pencil. So as always, I'm going to do some testing here on black paper, and all this does is it just shows you the level of opacity or opaqueness that the pencils have. Now, one or the other isn't bad. It's just different artists have got different preferences for their pencils. So we'll start with the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor. And all I'm going to do is just put a heavy layer down of each pencil going across here on the black paper. I will put the Koh-I-Noor Polycolor below this test so that again you can see them side by side. So I would say the yellow used and this red are both quite translucent. You can still see the black through the pigment. This blue for the Lyra Rembrandt is very thick and opaque. That's a nice blue. And then finally this green. So you can see there the yellow and the green especially are very translucent. The red and especially the blue are the red's a little bit opaque, and the blue is really nice and thick and opaque. So finally here I'm going to do the white for the Lyra Rembrandt. Okay, and so underneath here now, I'm going to do the Koh-I-Noor. So you can see there, there's still a little bit of translucency to that pigment, but it's definitely brighter than the yellow. And like I say, I tried to make sure that the colours were very similar. The red there as well, nice and thick. Blue. And the green. So I would definitely say that the Koh-I-Noor is definitely brighter on black paper. So if you're the type of artist that likes using either mid-tone papers or black paper, I think the Koh-I-Noor, judging by, I know this is only 4 colours, but it just gives you an indication. I can't do all of the colours on black paper, but it just gives you an idea as to the opaqueness and translucency of the colours. So I'm going to do the white here now for the Koh-I-Noor. Okay, so I would definitely say that the white in the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor is brighter than the white in the Koh-I-Noor. That is really odd. So you can see here that the colours that I've used in the Koh-I-Noor are definitely brighter and more vibrant on the black paper. With the Lyra Rembrandt colours, the blue is probably on par, if not a little bit brighter than the other colours of the Koh-I-Noor range. And then with the white pencils here, the Lyra Rembrandt is definitely brighter than the Koh-I-Noor. Okay, so in conclusion, so I love both these pencils. I make no bones about that. Like I said earlier on, when people ask me for a high quality budget range pencil, one of these pencils or both of these pencils are what I recommend people to go and look at reviews of and what have you. I think for the price, what you get for these pencils, they're really, really well priced. Obviously, you're going to have to weigh up certain things here. So when you're looking for a pencil, you've got to think of things like this. So they're both sold open stock, okay? But the Koh-I-Noor Polycolor has got more has got a larger palette than the Lyra Rembrandt. So that's something that you need to take into consideration. Like I say, you can take a look at the swatches that I have over on the written review of this, and take a look at the pigments that are available in both sets and see maybe what set would appeal to you more than the other. With regards to Lightfast, both these sets are in-house Lightfast tested, so that they do have Lightfast ratings and all the rest of it. Again, if you go across to the individual reviews, you will see how many pencils out of the sets are 3 and 2 stars and 1 star and all the rest of it, okay? But they're in-house tested. Now, somebody asked me the other day what my definition is of an artist grade pencil, and this is only, after 5 years of research of colour pencils, this is only my opinion of what I consider an artist grade pencil. The pencil has to be Lightfast tested by either the ASTM or the Blue Wool. The reason why I say that is because they are industry standards. They are standards that have been proven and tested and agreed upon with all manner of different groups who need Lightfast testing, and so because of that, the other companies that do in-house testing, I'm not saying that they're not worth anything or anything like that. I'm not saying that they're not good tests, but it's difficult to say if you're doing a commission for somebody and you say to somebody that your pencils are Lightfast tested, and if the person buying the piece knows what they're talking about and they go to you, all right, so are your pencils Lightfast 1 or Lightfast 2? Is it on the ASTM scale or is it on the Blue Wool scale? If it is, what number are they? If you come off with something like the star system that most in-house Lightfast testing do, the people may understand that is in-house Lightfast testing. So they're both on par with regards to the Lightfast testing. Like I say, they're both pencils that you can purchase open stock, so that's excellent also, because with regards to what I consider an artist grade pencil, the pencil has to be available open stock. And that's really about the only major premise that you need for a pencil to be considered artist grade. Lightfast tested by the ASTM or Blue Wool, open stock availability, and that's really about it. There are a couple of other little things, but they're all the same for other pencils that you should be looking out for. So next up, the tests that I've just shown you, both pencils layered really well, but on certain tests, on the blending test, for example, both pencils blended really nice, but the colors that were created, they looked better. The Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor looked a little bit brighter in the blending test. In other words, that the third color that gets created, so with the yellow and the blue, the green that gets created there was brighter and richer looking with the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor. Again, don't forget, you can click on these images over on the written review and enlarge them and take a look at it yourself. If you want to know prices and other smaller sets that are available, you can go across, like I say, I'll have links down below. Go across, take a little look at the individual reviews. The artwork that I done for both these pencils. So like I said, I found the Koh-I-Noor Polycolor just to be a little bit drier on the Derwent Lightfast paper, which was the paper that I did with the artwork as well. Now, when the swatches that you see there, they were done on Bristol vellum, so a much smoother paper than the Derwent Lightfast. But nevertheless, the vellum does have a tiny bit of texture to it. But you can see with the results of the swatches just how vibrant both pencils are with regards to their palettes. With the odorless mineral spirits test, that one was very close as well. So I used a selection of blues from both sets, used the odorless mineral spirits on them. Both pencils, the pigments broke down really well. The layers that was on that paper, it broke down really well. There was no streaking or anything like that. So both of those results were really favourable. And then the results on the black paper, as you could see from the test and obviously the images over on the written review, the Koh-I-Noor seemed much brighter there. So on the artwork and on the layering test, the Koh-I-Noor was not as bright as the Lyra Rembrandt, but then once it came onto the black paper, the Koh-I-Noor was definitely brighter and more vibrant than the Lyra Rembrandt. And this is what I'm talking about. If you're the type of artist that enjoys doing artwork on mid-tone paper or dark paper, then the Koh-I-Noor might be a better pencil for you. Whereas if you look at the layering tests or the blending tests, the Lyra Rembrandt might be a better pencil for you if you're not interested in doing artwork on darker papers. So there's all sorts of different things that you need to take into consideration. You need to ask yourself, what type of artwork do I like doing? What paper do I normally use when I'm going to be doing artwork? Whether it's on adult colouring books, whether it's on high quality artist quality paper, or just like Bristol Smooth, Bristol Vellum. These are all things that you need to be asking yourself before you go out and spend a lot of money on pencils. So anyway, guys, I've gone on way too long here. I really appreciate you stopping by to watch the video. Thank you so much. Also, I have a speed drawn of the artwork that I've done from both pencils, so that might be of interest to you as well. I'll have a link for that down below. Like I said, I'll have still images of those two pieces of art. You can go across, click on the link down below, it'll take you across and you can inspect those images, enlarge them and inspect them at your own leisure. You'll get to see the texture of the paper and what have you. And that's really about it, guys. If there's anything I've missed out here, please by all means ask me in the comment section or just email me at theartgearguide@gmail.com. I'll have a link for the email address down below. Also, if you want, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I've got a Facebook page, the Art Gear Guide Facebook page. Then I obviously have just my own Facebook page, which is just the Art Gear Guide as well. But if you want to follow me on Facebook, by all means, please do so. You can also ask me questions over there. I also have an Instagram account, so you can go across to Instagram. There'll be links for all these social media sites down below, but I normally put up, work in progress images of artwork that I'm doing over on Instagram. And I have a Twitter account as well, so if when I'm putting out reviews or anything like that, I'll always put it up on Twitter as well, so you'll get a notification the next time anything's coming out. And finally, I have a Patreon account, so if you're interested in following along with some of the tutorials that I have over there, please go across, take a look at the Patreon account. If you don't understand the tiers or anything like that, just email me or ask me and I'll be more than happy to explain it to you. But it's really, really simple. I've made it as simple as I can. It's not too complicated with the Patreon account. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Bye.